Hey, okay, so this third video is going to be about rape and my thoughts on about it, and also my experiences with it, I could say. Just a word. Sorry about the noise in the background. My sisters are kind of loud. Okay, so rape. Rape has been a consistent, I could say, topic in my life. When I was 5, I watched a man rape a woman I really loved and cared about, and it was hard for me. It was very traumatizing, and for years, I sort of just blocked that out, I guess, and it didn't resurface until I was 12, which was when my uncle tried to rape me. Okay, so when I was 12, I was staying over my great aunts for the summer, and she had her cousin, who we called uncle, we knew as our uncle, stay over because he was staying over because he was suffering from no, he was getting dialysis, kidney problems. So I remember that she always would make me take him to doctor's appointments and like be with him 24/7 to make sure he was okay, because she worked, and my great grandma, she was too old to care for him. So I was like pretty much like his babysitter, or his nurse. But I assumed that he started seeing me as, instead of a child, he started seeing me as an adult. So when I was sleeping one day, my aunt had a really bad habit of leaving the door open. I was sleeping one day in my aunt's room, and he came in and he was fondling me. He was like touching me, molesting me. And I woke up to that. So of course I was terrified, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And he was telling me like, oh, that he wanted me, and he kept touching me, and I moved away. And I was like, what are you doing? I was really scared, but luckily I do not freeze when I'm scared. I act. So I got up and like moved away from him, and like I was like inching away around the bed, and he like kissed me, and he was telling me take off your clothes, I have money for you. And I was like, what? Like, are you crazy? So I relaxed, and I decided to play around with him. Not play around with him, but like play his own cards, I was like, oh sure, like, yeah, let me just, take off my own clothes, meet you in your room. And when he left, I got up and like ran to the door, and I locked my aunt's door, and I called my aunt, and I was like spazzing, like that's when I spazzed. I started crying, and I was like super scared because my grandgrandma was never gonna believe me, because my grandma, she's like, oh no, like, oh, it's okay, we can cover everything up. But I called my aunt, and I told my aunt what happened, and she came, and I was like disgusted. Like, I didn't want to look at him. But what bothered me was, I think the biggest, even though I was almost raped by my uncle, I think the biggest thing for me was just the fact that nobody, like, I told my aunt, I told my father, and nobody believed me. My dad was like that I was leading him on, and I was like, so this day I still don't believe. I don't understand what the hell he meant by that, because I mean, what the fuck does a 12-year-old want with a grown-ass man? But whatever. Got over it. After that, I fell into depression. I just felt really disgusted with myself, even though I know I hadn't done anything. And I lost a lot of weight. I used to weigh like 120 pounds when I was like 12. I was really thick, pretty much like as thick as I am now. And I dropped down to 107 pounds, like a size 2, 3. Nobody really like paid attention, and I think that's what really hurt the most, that nobody cared. It was really, I don't know. After that, I was still like, I had still, and during that time that, he was about to like rape me, that's when like the flashbacks from when I was like 5 came, and I was just like, oh fuck, I know what this is, like I know what's going on, and like everything just piled on me that year, and it was just, I just spiraled downhill. Luckily I was able to pull myself out of that little by little, and when I got into high school, started like dating guys and stuff, just for fun. Like, I think that's pretty much what a lot of young kids do, just date around for fun. So I dated I dated this one guy, and he was pretty nice. He was pretty cool. There was nothing, I didn't see anything wrong with him. One day he's like, oh, let's go talk in like the room, and I'm like, sure, let's talk in the room. I was 16. Let's talk in the room, and then he like threw himself off me. He was trying to take off my clothes, and I was just like, what the fuck, like not again. Like I'm tired of this shit. And I was like, no, like I don't want to have sex. And he's like, no, we're gonna have sex. And like he's trying to, literally about to rape me. So then I had to like play the smart card again, and I was like, okay. I was like, look, I was like, I have my period. I was like, I'm bleeding. That's why I don't want to have sex with you. Like, it's not because I don't love you. It's because, and like he was trying to take off my pants, but luckily I was like fighting him off, so he didn't get to like see if I really had my period or not. And he was just like, okay, whatever. Let me just feel on you. And I was like, let me just go. I was like, let me just go, and then like, next week we'll do whatever you want. Like, like obviously I was like freaking out in my head, but I was freaking out in my head, but luckily I was able to like maintain myself and not let it happen. And he was just like, all right, cool. After that, I obviously broke up with him. I never spoke about it though, because I figured if my parents didn't believe me when I was 12, they weren't gonna believe me now. And since this guy, I was dating him, obviously without my parents' permission, because I wasn't allowed to date. They would have just been like, oh, like, what were you doing with him alone? And they would have just blamed me anyways, which is what people do a lot in our society. Like, it's really annoying, actually. They blame young women and young men, because men get raped too. They blame young women and men for, like, putting themselves in certain situations, but it's like, we don't go into these situations thinking that something crazy is gonna happen. We don't party with our friends thinking that we're gonna be drugged. We don't date, we don't have boyfriends thinking our boyfriends are gonna rape us. Like, it's, sometimes our trust gets the best of us, and it's not our fault. And I think society needs to understand that. I mean, I wish my parents would have understood that, but they didn't. So, yeah, rape is, it's critical. It's crazy. I know for me, it took me a long time to actually trust people. Well, trust guys when it came to relationships. Not when it came to friends, because I've always been known to just have a lot of guy friends. I don't really hang out with girls. But it's hard sometimes still to trust people, and I think that's why when I like, I don't know, it's just hard. And then another circumstance with rape, this time it wasn't towards me, but it affected me. I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, and that summer I was messing around with this guy, and he seemed pretty cool. He was pretty nice. I was living on my own at that time, so I even let him stay with me for a while. I allowed him to just crash at my house because his family got evicted. It turns out that while he was staying with me, he raped one of our friends, and I didn't know about it. Nobody wanted to tell me because they were like, oh, Bianca's dating him, and I don't know, they didn't want. But my best friend eventually told me. He found out and he told me, and I flipped out. I wasn't supposed to know, but so I kicked the guy out, obviously, and then I went to the doctor to get myself checked out. Luckily, I was fine, and I went and I spoke to the girl, and she didn't want to talk to me, which is understandable. But I told her like she needed to do something about it, like report it, or stay away from him, because she was crazy. She was always near him. She psychologically, she just wanted to forget about it, and she couldn't, because every time she was there, excuse me, she couldn't, because he was always around. And since nobody was supposed to know, she just dealt with that. So I sat around with my friends and I spoke to them, and I was like, yo, like, this kid can't be around her. I don't even want him around me. Like, he disgusts me. And if you guys don't make him leave, I will. Like, I will. I'll spaz and I'll do it myself because it's not something I can deal with. I told her that she probably needed to go get some help because I know how it felt to just, she was actually raped. I was never actually raped. You know, like, I was molested. I was, you know, on the verge of being raped, but I was never actually raped. And, you know, and I saw someone else get raped. So, and if that affected me, like, I could imagine how much her actually being raped affected her. So I told her, like, go, you know, go talk to someone, but she never did. At least, you know, that was her decision. But at least I was able to help her in the sense that I got the kid to stop hanging out with us. Totally got all my other friends to just shut him out because that's what he's, in my opinion, that's what he deserved. I wasn't, they didn't allow me to report it to the cops. They didn't allow me to tell anyone. And it still bothers me because I wish I could have done more, but they didn't allow me to. And I don't know, it's kind of annoying. But my thing is, if you are raped, if you have been raped, or if you know someone who has raped someone, talk about it. I mean, talk about it to anyone. It hurts.